Tough game for us. Just struggled to score, especially in the second half. Kind of where we wanted to be at the start of the third. I'm sorry, the start of the fourth. It was tied, and then they had that kind of burst there midway, or start the fourth actually created that separation, and then we really closed it. So disappointed to lose the game, but obviously the first game of the year, you're trying to figure out where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, and what you need to do to improve. So this will give us a lot of film to look at and get back to Durham and try to keep getting better.
Thanks, Coach. Question from the audience?
Coach, how much stock do you really put into the first game of the season? How many of the things that you saw today can be fixed very early on? And how much do you really learn in the first game of the season?
I think you can learn a lot in the first game of the season. I think, especially when you're playing a really good team, because they expose a lot of things about you on both ends of the floor, offensively and defensively. So I think we learned a lot, and we have individual players that learn a lot or are going to learn a lot when they see it on film. And then as a team, we're going to learn and grow from it. So that's a part of it. We would still learn a lot, hopefully, if we won, but when you lose, I think it feels a little bit differently. Teams tend to be a little bit more urgent to fix the things because they want to change the result. So this will sit with us for a little bit because we don't play for 6 days. That might be the best thing for us. That sits with us and we can get back to work and try and get better.
Compared to what you know in the United States, what did you think about the atmosphere tonight and the results? What will you remember from your trip?
Yeah, we had a wonderful time in Paris. Just wonderful city. I think it's one of the best cities in the world, not just basketball-wise, but everything that Paris has to offer. And for our players, only one player had been to Paris before, so it's the first time for most of our team. They really enjoyed it and enjoyed experiencing the French culture, food, the sites. There's so much history here as well to be able to tour some of the historical sites. So overall, that part of the trip off the court, I think, was a great success. And just really thankful to have the opportunity to bring my players here and have this type of memory, for them in college to be able to have the experience of going to Paris and have the pictures and have the memories from it.
What was your tonight?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. It's to have some of our fans, and what's great about Duke is we have a lot of alums that live in Paris. So we had a lot of local Duke fans that obviously went to school at Duke and then came in. And they weren't just from Paris. We had Duke alums that came in from all over Europe to watch us play. And so it was neat to see some Duke shirts and Duke sweatshirts in the crowd.
And then for the average French sports fan who might not know much about the NCAA, but is a sports fan otherwise, football and so on, what would you want them to know, particularly about the work ethic of female college athletes and some of the trials and tribulations and the work ethic that goes into it?
I think to play college basketball at an elite level is very challenging. And it takes a special person to be able to take on the weight of all of the responsibilities that you have to have. Our school is one of the top 10 academic schools in the U.S. So our players take on a heavy load academically. They do very well in school, but that takes time. They have to study hard. They have to go to their classes. That's a big part of their day. And then on top of that, they have their basketball responsibilities, which is practicing, in an elite program and playing a tough schedule as well. So I'm really proud of what they take on daily, and they work really hard. And I think that's probably the thing that people maybe don't know about women's college basketball players is how much time every day is spent working on studying and working on practicing. And you have to be very disciplined and you have to be very focused to be successful.
First one. Any questions from those on Zoom?
What role do you think this We-Play event plays in inspiring young girls worldwide to pursue sports at a high level, such as at your university?
Yeah, I hope, as women's basketball is growing, not just in our country, but throughout the world. And I think it's very powerful for just people to get exposure to it. Exposure can come in different ways. It can come watching on television, but it can also come watching in person. And so for young people to see, especially young girls, to see these women playing, it gives them something that they can, maybe envision themselves doing. Gives them a chance to set a goal and maybe a desire to come and play in the U.S. and play in college and get an education and play basketball. So the more examples that we have of women playing basketball throughout the world, and the more that we can bring our game to different places, I think it's a positive for our sport to continue to help with the growth of it.